Alright everybody, hello and welcome back, and welcome to another video in Vex VR. This time we're looking at the number maze. So we'll go over the three different levels. Level 1, you're just moving from the start, which is a green box, to the finish, which is a red box. Level number 2, you are going through the maze, stopping on each of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. And then level 3, you're just doing that in reverse. So for this one, I'm going to go over all of level 1 with you guys, and we'll look at some things that you can do in level 2. I probably won't do all. I'll show you my finished level 2. I'm probably not going to program all of level 2 in front of you, um, just because it's a lot of like step-by-step instructions is all we're doing. That's all I expect from you guys on this one is step-by-step instructions. So we're going to come over here. We're going to look at vex.vr or vr.vex. And we can look at our playground, right? When we're choosing our playground, we want to make sure that we get the wall maze, not the dynamic wall maze. The dynamic wall maze, every time you reset it, the walls change. We're not doing that. We're not there yet. So we're just using the wall maze, right? So for level 1, we just have to get from this green square to our red square. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to set this up so that it's easier for me to copy and paste and kind of put all of these things together. So I'm going to have a drive forward at 250 up here. Then I'm going to have another one at 500. I'm going to have another one at 750. I'm going to have one at 1000. And then I'm also going to have a turn right for 90 degrees and a turn, not that one, and a turn left for 90 degrees. What this allows me to do is this just kind of gives me quick access to these, which I'm going to use a whole bunch in here. And then I can click on them, copy, and paste a couple of them. Copy and paste a couple. That way, instead of having to find it from over on the side, I can just drag and drop from right up here. All right. So for this first one, again, what I found in some testing before we did all of this is that in order to kind of go up one of these squares, if we can imagine a grid in here, you have to move up 250, right? So 250 moves from here to here, and then 250 from there to there, right? So at first we're going to move up 250, and then we're going to move to the right 250, and then we're going to move forward 250, and then we're going to turn left, and then we're going to move forward 250. You can see why I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to show you guys the entire one of me programming to go over to 1, and then over to 2, and then up to 3, then over to 4. I have done it, and I'll show you my finished result. I'm just not going to walk you through all of that. So where are we again? I highly suggest kind of doing lots of tests because as you see, I already had it turn right, and I should have had it turn left. So, and the other thing I suggest you do is set your drive and turn velocity to 100%. That'll just make your tests go faster. Again, it's not really necessary, but as you can see, it goes much faster when you do that. So we turn left, and then this one should be right. Sorry about that. And then we're right about here. Then we're going to need to turn left. We go forward 250. Then we turn right. Or where are we at? All right, so here we go. We're going to go forward 250, then we're going to turn right again. And now we're going to be right here, so we've got to go 1, 2, 3. So we're going forward 750. Then we're turning left to go up, and so on and so forth. This again gets very, very repetitive. I highly suggest using this copy and paste because you just use a lot of these. Turn right 90. And you can see how copy and paste is useful here. All right. We're getting close. And then I think I actually want this one. All right. So I think I've done this right. We'll see. A nice thing to do is we can follow these green ones here, and it kind of shows us what step we're at. So if something goes wrong, we can pause it quickly and see where something went wrong. But there we go. So that's level 1, and it's just a big block of code like this. So again, you're coming up here, you're saving it, wall maze, level 1, and then your name. So, Mr. Wallen. So you would do something like that. Now we're going to look at parts of level 2. And for level 2, I'm actually going to do something different. I'm going to introduce the idea of functions to you guys. So we are going to create our own block, right? And you can do a couple of different things. You can have it so as an input, it's a Boolean or it's a text label. I am just going to say this is block. This is going to go start to 1, right? So this block, and now I get to define what happens in this block, right? This is the actual block that reads code. This is what happens when it's reading that code of block. So if I reset it and I want to go from the start to 1, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy and paste a couple more of these. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn and go right 90 degrees. Then we're going to drive forward, and so on and so forth. Again, it's just a lot of these step-by-step instructions, which is why I'm not going to walk you through the whole thing, because it would just be kind of boring. Turning right, and then we're driving forward. We're turning right again, and we're driving forward again. So that's start to 1. I'm actually I would make another block 1 to 2. Okay. Make another block 2 to 3. Make another block. And these names, I would just try and name it something so I can look at it and say, okay, I understand what's happening there. And I can read it, and it's kind of supplementing commenting. The other thing I could do is I could add in a comment here and say, this gives to go from the start to 0.1. So you could just add comments. I try and name mine something that kind of takes the place of a comment. So if I play this, my robot should, if I did something right, this should be 500 here. That's my bad. All right, so now my robot should end up at number 1, right? And so now what I can do is I can take, I don't really need to look at this anymore. So now I can go 1 to 2, right? So the first thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to turn 180 degrees. And then I'm going to program all the instructions in to get it over to here. The other part of this is it says it has to wait or stop at each number for 2 seconds. So I'm going to come up and use wait 2 seconds. And then, oh wait, no, that goes up here, right? Wait 2 seconds, and then it'll run 1 to 2. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste a couple of those, right? I'll have 1 to 2, and then it'll wait 2 seconds. Keep missing. 2 to 3, wait 2 seconds. 3 to 4, wait 2 seconds. 4 to finish, right? So that's what my actual code will look like. And that way, instead of that huge chunk of blue code that I had with level 1, it's going to be broken up into smaller bits like this. So I'm going to pull over the code that I already wrote earlier. This was the code I created earlier today that runs through the entire program. So as you can see, I kind of had the same setup up here so that I could easily copy and paste. And right here, I have go, and I go from 1 to 2. I go from the start to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to the finish. So if we pull up our playground and actually play this, we can see it happening where it runs. And like I said before, these green dots kind of show you where in line your program is, so that if something goes wrong, you can quickly hit the stop button and make adjustments as you need to. I will say that if the code is running and you're adding things to the code, it stops your code, or it stops that green line from continuing to run. So you won't necessarily be able to tell where it is. I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I realize that this one's a bit longer, but that's just because there was a lot of coding to go in here. It's also one of the reasons why we didn't go through the entire, I didn't write all of this coding because, well, you saw how much I messed it up when I just had to do a little bit. So we'll just let this finish out. Turns around and it finishes right there. So I hope this is helpful to you guys. I'll close this and give you guys one last good look at this code. Your own blocks that you create, these are really functions. So these are things that, I can use this block again and again and again, and it can do all different sorts of things. It's super useful for something like this. It's even more useful if you want to run one part of the program 10 times or so, or you're going to call it a bunch of different times. So there you go. You guys should be able to piece this one together. You could really make this just one giant block of blue programming. It would just be really annoying to look at, and it could be very easy to get lost in. So breaking it up into these smaller pieces just helps you keep from getting lost. Well, hopefully this is helpful. Have a great day.